Chris brings out the softness in her. Chris makes her so calm. No, baby, Chris has been holding back. He's been holding his tongue. He's afraid that she's going to crash out on him like she had been doing all along. Let me hear the people in the back who were saying, she's changed. She's not that kind of person anymore. She's grown so much. When? How? Where? She cannot even help it. Hear me out. To be exclusive to going home in the same night is diabolical.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I am Kay and this is Kay Unscripted. Today I'm going to be breaking down Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 32. Before we get into this one, as usual, y'all, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in every single day. Thank you for being here with me. If you're here for the first time, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one. Now let's talk about this episode. Amaya and Brian were voted to go to the hideaway. They're in the hideaway now, and the hideaway looks beautiful, by the way. They immediately start making out. They're feeling on each other. Now back at the villa, there's a chat between Taylor and Clark. She's talking about wedding plans and I'm like, wedding plans already? Like, slow down. You're just met. What is happening? But Clark asked him what would he like at his wedding, and he gave a whole explanation that made no kind of sense, only to say that everyone has to wear a cowboy hat with their initials on it. He asked her if she wants a wedding because he feels like some girls want to head to the courthouse. Now, I was definitely one of the girls who wanted to head over to the courthouse. I was that girl. But I'm so happy my husband encouraged me to have the wedding of my dreams. And now I can look back at our pictures and talk about our wedding day, which was so beautiful. So I'm happy I did that. But anyways, Clark said she needs her wedding. It has to be extravagant. The color theme is light pink. She says she wants to do a sexy photo shoot thingy for her husband. Good for you, Clark. Chris and Huda have a chat and he looks like he doesn't want to talk to her. He looks like he's not in his mood. And she kind of caught on to it and she's asking him if he's okay. He said he's good, he's just mellow. She's still asking him again, well, what's wrong with you? Are you thinking of something? And he says, no, he's good. Now, instead of him being honest about how he's feeling, he tells her, I still feel the same way about you. I like you a lot. But I think Huda isn't really buying it. She could kind of tell that there's something on his mind, but she didn't really press him about it. They left it at that. That's going to come up later though. Now back at the hideaway, Amaya and Brian, they head to the hot tub. They're happy. They got picked by the Islanders and then they do the thing, right? Now the Islanders themselves back at the villa get ready for bed. Chris is in his feelings because Huda didn't kiss him. And like I said, he had the opportunity to tell Huda, but he didn't. But he's with the guys and he's telling them how he's feeling. He's saying Huda doesn't want to kiss him outside of challenges. And the one time they kissed, it was in Speakeasy and no one saw them. This is all a build-up for when they finally have the conversation about that. So anyways, the Islanders head to bed. And there was definitely some action happening tonight. Between Iris and Peppy, and at the hideaway, of course, things went down between Amaya and Brian. Baby, Amaya said, bite them, baby. And I'm like, bite what, Amaya? So anyways, it's the next morning and we're at the hideaway. Amaya and Brian talk about the best part of the night. Brian said, well, you know what the best part of my night was? But she tells him that she sees him not only as a love interest, he's also her best friend. He said he feels the same way too. And he said we're just two misunderstood people understanding each other. And that was cute. They come out of the hideaway. Everybody's waiting for them. The girls go with Amaya to one side and the guys do the same. They're cheering them on, you know, making a whole bunch of noise. Now, once the guys come together, Ace is like, well, spill the tea. Ace is so nosy. So Brian tells them that they went to the hot tub and they had a lot of deep conversations. And of course, they don't want to hear that. They want to know what went down. They asked him what was his favorite part of the night, and he's like, well, he kept it very respectful. He said he feels like he lost his virginity and the journey was amazing. Then Amaya is with the girls and she's spilling the tea. She keeps it cute and classy too. She says the journey was beautiful. They asked her how many times. She said twice, period. But she also does thank them for picking her, and we love seeing Amaya happy finally. I know some people feel like Brian is not being honest. I don't see that from him. I think he really does like Amaya. So there's a group chat between Olandria, Shirley, Taylor, Huda, and Peppy. They're chilling. For me, it was kind of strange seeing Olandria and Taylor in the same space. But anyways, they were talking about the baby challenge previously. Shelly said that she wants a set of twins, but she wants it to be with the right person. She says that Ace was stressed as hell the entire time, and then Taylor tells her, no, you were stressing my boy out. Anyways, Chris gets a text that says, boys, get ready to bounce. It's time for a game of 3-on-3, no girls allowed. The guys are super excited. They start making noise. They're heading out of the villa to play basketballs. And the girls are like, what are we supposed to do now? They were getting a little bit salty because the guys were just too excited to leave the villa. So the guys head out and they get into teams. The teams were Ace, Peppy, and Brian versus Chris, Taylor, and Nick. And the game scene was cute. Peppy was definitely scoring most of the goals from what I saw. But baby, one thing a short man hates is losing. We didn't see Ace score one damn goal. But that was a nice scene. That was cute and all. Now back at the villa while the boys are outside playing basketball, the girls decide to play a game of Would You Rather. And they had me cracking up this entire segment. So Shelly asked the first question, would you rather date someone with stank breath or stank armpits? Most people agreed to stank armpits because that's definitely something you could fix fast. Amaya asked the next question, would you rather have a bad boob job or a bad butt job? Huda said she already has a bad boob job, so she'll do it again. Now, Iris asked the other question, would you rather date a guy who only wants you to jerk him off with your feet every time or only wants mouth stuff every time? Shelly said, well, how many times a day? Iris said twice. She said, well, I'll be getting my ab crunchies in. And I was like, Shelly, that was too funny. So we head back to the courtyard. The guys are chilling. Ace said he's excited to head back to the villa. He's missing his Shelly poo. Peppy says he wakes up excited every morning to see Iris. And he said what started off as a strong friendship turned into a full circle moment. And he's just been enjoying every single day with Iris. Nick says he kind of feels that's how things are with him and Olandria. The physical attraction is growing between them, and he feels like everything happened the way it was supposed to. He also said he's going to do his best to meet her needs, and that's on period. He's happy because they've been doing things the right way, taking it slow. But what's most fulfilling to him is that they're doing it together. Now, Taylor decides to step in and give some very unwanted advice. Nick knows what he's doing. Taylor, he doesn't need your help. So back at the villa, Huda, Olandria, and Shelly are in soul ties. Now, these are the girls you're calling mean, right? Oh, okay. Olandria talks about her connection with Nick. She says at first she felt guilt, but that's starting to go away now. They cuddle and it didn't feel weird between them. Huda says what she loves the most about her coupling up with Chris is that they communicate so well. But is that really true, Huda? Because Chris don't look like he really wants to say what's actually going on in his mind. Anyways, she says that she can bring things up to him and it's not an argument. She said being with Chris is easy. She can finally relax. But girl, you really haven't relaxed. Because Chris has just been letting you have your way. He's just treading carefully. She also said that she has to tell herself that he's so perfect. So please don't mess it up. Because of course, like I said in my previous video, If you haven't seen it yet, please, the link is above. Go ahead and click it. I said it before. Once she gives up the coochie, it unlocks the crazy. Now, when Chris talks about his connection with Huda, he said, I do have a lot of things that I like about her. We really have a strong connection besides the physical, but she can be combative and defensive a lot of times. He said, you can't be an avoidant. If something is bothering you, you need to speak up. But the real question is he going to speak up? We're going to find out later. Peppy tells him, you should speak up, be respectful, be open and honest. Say it with your chest, Chris. Taylor's boring behind starts talking about Clark. He loves waking up next to her. He loves being around her. She gives him the feeling that he's never felt before. And he tells the guys that he wants to close things off with her. He says that Clark used to chase, so he wants to kind of use the idea to ask her to be exclusive with him. Good for them, but Taylor's getting nothing from me. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a genuine person, but good for them. Now the guys come back and they're walking into the villa like they're injured. Now, one thing about men, they love to be pampered, and that's exactly what they were looking for. Anyways, they're all sitting together talking about the day, and it was a nice, cute little moment. Later on in the evening, the guys are practicing their routine because Taylor wants to close things off with Clark. Anyways, the girls get ready, they're all together, and he decides to make a toast. He says that they're family, he loves them all through all of the ups and the downs. And just when everyone was about to take a sip of their drink, he starts screaming, wait! He cues the guys, and they had a whole performance. They had a whole routine. He gives this long speech, and I couldn't help but look at Olandria's face when he was saying all of those things. He then asks Clark if she'd like to be exclusive with him, and of course she says yes. I'm not going to lie, I'll not be a hater. That was cute, but of course I'm going to come with a but. It's just sad to me that he's never tried to do any of that for Olandria. He never put in any effort for her. And here comes Clark, and he's doing all of those grand gestures for her. Now, every time I say her name, this is what comes to my mind. Everybody have to ask for me and me Clarks. Everybody have to ask for me and me Clarks. If you know, you know. Big up Vibes Cartel one time, okay? Anyways, Huda and Chris go for a chat. The rest of the islanders are together. And I don't know who said it, but somebody said, how do y'all think Huda and Chris are doing over there? Nick says, well, I know they have some stuff to talk about. Now, the girls are genuinely confused, like, are we missing something? And so Iris asked, well, like what? And they literally started sipping their drink. Y'all are messier than the girls. Like, what is this? So, while Huda and Chris are about to chat, she realizes that they're staring at her. So she's asking, why are they staring? Chris said, well, why are you worried about them? Baby, this is the beginning of his irritation with Huda. He recounts to her what happened when he asked her for a kiss. He asked her what was her initial reaction. She said she turned around. He asked her, well, why? She said she wasn't ready to kiss in front of people. He said, well, no one was around. Chris says to her, well, I'm a little bit confused because you don't want to do it in front of people, but you want to do things in the bedroom. Make it make sense. Now, her explanation made absolutely no type of sense. She just pretty much said she doesn't like PDA. But we've seen Huda give PDA before with her previous connection. Now, you could tell once she said that, Chris was so annoyed. He starts explaining himself and Huda cuts him off. He said, can I finish, please? Now, she's already jumping to conclusions. She says, do you want me to stop kissing you in bed? Girl, can you let the man get a word in and explain himself to you? You just said y'all communicate so well. Let the man say what he needs to say. Then she does it again and he's getting mad because she keeps cutting him off. He repeatedly says to her, let me finish, let me finish. Can you please let me finish my sentence? She still doesn't stop. She does it again At that point, Chris was done. He was fed up. He was tired. Not only does she not allow Chris to finish saying what he wanted to say, she takes over the conversation and she says, I'm gonna be the victim again. It's my time to pull out the victim card. Oh, I'm a very touchy-feely person, but I'm sore because I've been through some things in here. Chris said the math ain't mathing. If we cannot kiss in public, why are we having sex? He just pretty much straight out told her that. And the answer is because she don't want you. The girl was stressed, she needed to release, and so she released. But anyways, she walks away from the conversation, and to all the people defending Huda, oh, she's grown so much. She's changed. No, it's been a continuous pattern with Huda because time after time after time, she's switched things around. She's switching people's words. She's saying things that people have never said. She has an attitude and she starts crying. Y'all complain about Amaya crying, but I don't see y'all complaining about Huda always crying. She switched things on Chris so much that he's now looking like the bad guy, questioning if he was tripping. Didn't this exact thing happen with Jeremiah? I'll wait. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Anyone who encourages and makes excuses for Huda's behavior is just as toxic as she is. Point blank, period. That's it. Brian checks in with Chris and he's like, I'm over it. Every time I try to explain myself, she keeps cutting me off. And he's just pretty much saying that he doesn't have the bandwidth to deal with Huda and her bullshit anymore. Anyways, Chris pulls Amaya for a chat and he's reiterating what happened between the conversation with him and Huda. Amaya tells him that he has the right to express himself and she feels like Huda is being defensive and protecting herself, but she doesn't realize that her actions is actually hurting the relationship with Chris. She assures him that they will be good. Now, I love what Amaya said to Chris, but I think at this point, he's done. He's seen too much and he's pretty much over it. Then there's a chat between Nick and Olandria. He asks her how she's feeling about the new couple. I like that Nick is always checking in with Olandria to see how she's feeling when it comes to Taylor or anything that Taylor does. But she says, I'm good, happy for them. And she says, truthfully, Taylor's in vet school for 3 years. How is he going to make time for her? And he also does rodeo on weekends. Where does she fit in? So she said she kind of realized that from the beginning. But I think despite of her knowing all of those things, she would have found a way to make it work. Because guess what? That's what we women do. Where there's a will, there is a way. Now, I wish she didn't spend so much time on Taylor giving him her effort and her energy because now she realized that he was never ever really into her, seeing how much he has done and how far he has went to express his feelings for Clark. He hasn't done that for her. Anyways, Amaya checks in on Huda. So she's like, girl, we saw you walk away from the conversation. We knew something was up, but then Chris pulled me for a chat and he feels like you're embarrassed to kiss him in public. She said she's not embarrassed to kiss him in public, but she was doing that with Jeremiah and she got so much heat. Look at how it turned out. She feels like, at this point, it's their business and she wants to keep it private. Huda, your explanation still doesn't make sense because ain't nobody checking for your behind. Everyone is pretty much coupled up with their person. So who would really care if you're kissed or not? That doesn't make any kind of sense. Girl, just say the pin wasn't good. You got the ick. You're not interested in him anymore. Just say that. That would have made better sense. Now, here comes the waterworks. And child, I am as over it as Chris is. I'm with Chris. That's enough. Now, as she starts crying, ding, somebody gets a text. Perfect timing. Peppy got a text which asked them all to gather at the fire pit. And we know what's about to go down. Somebody's going home. So they're all together at the fire pit. Huda gets a text that says that America has been voting for their favorite couple. The couple with the least votes will be dumped from the island. Amaya then gets the text that says, all islanders, please stand up. And this is how it went down. So the first couple to be safe was Shelly and Ace, followed by Amaya and Brian. Iris and Peppy. And once they called Iris and Peppy's name, Iris looked like she was holding her breath. She said, she was relieved. And the last couple to be safe was Chris and Huda, but baby, Chris looked mad as hell. He's like, I don't want to be here. Please send me home. I want to go home. He was mad as hell. She literally had to stretch her hand out to him. He's like, here's the hand. Chris didn't want to be there at all. So the bottom two couples were Clark and Taylor and Nick and Olandria. The two couples are then asked to stand in front of the fire pit, and y'all, my heart was beating so fast because I'm like, please, not Nick and Olandria again. Like, how did they get to the bottom? I don't understand. Immediately, Ace starts to cry because either way, he's going to lose one of his homeboys. But child, Clark and Taylor got dumped from the island. Go upstairs, Taylor, pack your bags. Taylor, while you're at it, Taylor, call the cab. It's obvious you're going home. Go upstairs and get up out of here, Taylor. I'm sorry, but Taylor is going home with Clark. Anyways, they say their goodbyes. Now, I almost shed a tear because Ace just couldn't cope. The Three Stooges have a final chat. Taylor says that what he has with Clark is real. Yeah, right. Because the streets have been saying that your girl is waiting for you when you get home, Taylor. But Ace tells them that they're family to him and he cares about them so much. He's going to miss Taylor so much. Anyways, they make their little exit. Bye, Taylor. He said that this is the best experience he's had since meeting Clark, and he's happy that he left with her. Now, guys, tell me, did you shed a tear? Did y'all peep, though, that it was only Amaya and Ace who shed a little tear? We didn't see anybody else crying. But tell me how you feel about Taylor and Clark going home. How was this episode to you? Share all of your thoughts with me. Go ahead and like this video, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel because there's more recaps coming like this one. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You hear me? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.